Welcome to a new channel. The new channel, Escape Power, with me, Max Power. What we're looking at today, we're looking at the Exway X1 Pro. So, cue the intro. So what do you get in the box? You get spare back wheels, you get a remote, skate tool, Allen key, a couple of cables, charge your remote and to charge your phone from the board itself, and that's about it. The PU is alright. You get the black wheels on, which are the full set, but you only get 2 spare rears in the orange. I prefer the seismic speed vents to go on the front, which are a little bit thinner at 54mm, I think they are. So for me, I think these are really good on the front, which is a softer PU and gives you a much nicer ride. Well worth the investment for the front. But obviously, as a hub motor, you still have to use this PU on the back, either the orange, the green, I think, or the black that comes with it. You could also use these, which are the orangutan caguamas, and they'd be pretty good on the fronts instead of the stock wheels. Main specs: the difference between the X1 and the X1 Pro is sort of minor and major at the same time. 29 miles per hour, but that's using the turbo mode, which is a firmware update on the X1 Pro. In range up to 16 miles in my testing, I found realistically you're getting, if you're going quite fast on the board, you're only getting really about 10-11 miles maximum. It's a bit heavier, so it's about a pound and a bit more heavy. You get more torque and it's more power, so it's 1200 watts times 2 max power. 600 times 2 is nominal. 75 watts, and battery is 193 watt hours instead of the 120 that's in the X1. Trucks are the same with the seismic Aeons, 45 degree, and you get the Exway bushings in there, which are the harder ones, which are 90A. For me, on the X1, not the Pro, I actually bought the Aeon softer bushings, the AE, I think they are, and I found those a lot better because I'm a bit lighter. The grip tape is different on the X1 Pro, and you've got the foam one. Now on my X1 Pro, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, what started to happen is slowly but surely this is starting to peel off. Do I like this PU? Yeah, I can't juggle. And you can see at the bottom there that it started to peel off as well. The remote is exactly the same as it was before on the X1, but basically you can see there as the X1 is started to wear off, and I've done about, I don't know, about 250 miles on the X1, and you can see there that it started to all peel and it's not looking too good. And the coating on it's really nice in your hand. I tell you, I really like this PU better than I like this PU. Is this important? Skate tool's pretty basic and pretty much the same thing that you get in every board. I hate this bit because it constantly just, you put it in there and you put it in your pocket, and then this bit comes out and it drops on the floor. It's just a pain in the tits. I can't be bothered with it. And it's a shame actually that they don't use screws instead of hex keys for the back wheels, because now you have to carry this around. So what do I actually think of the X1 Pro? The X1 Pro is a good upgrade on the X1. It's not a bad board. It is a bit heavier. It does go a bit farther. I think on my X1 I was getting around 4 to 6 miles if I was going quite fast on it. But I find that the X1 Pro does get around the 10 mile mark, so it's sort of comparable to a boosted board Stealth when you're looking at how far that thing goes. However, I do think that I prefer the stiffer deck for me, and I think I do prefer without all the battery boxes and everything else underneath it, the clean lines and everything else. I do think that there are some improvements that could be made, but there again I think there's improvements that could be made on just about every board. They've done a pretty good job with this. I like the fact that it's IP55 rated, so it is waterproof, and you know, you don't get any problems with the hubs. The other things I don't like about the grip tape, which I don't know whether you can see this, it sort of peels up really easy and peels off. And I think that's just because, you know, this shock absorbing grip tape is all well and good. Does it add that much more? Well, it is a bit more comfortable. You know, some of you might like it, but you know, I think the design is quite nice on the back. Do I prefer belts? Probably. I don't prefer them. I think they're pretty good. You know, the Riot Pack's coming for this in April, I think. In the UK, this is, I think, is about £800. I think it's like 800 and something in the States, 800 and something dollars. But I think you're getting a really good board for that. You know, when you look at a boosted board Stealth, which is in the UK, it's like £1,600. You know, that's quite a lot. And when you can have one of these, pretty much goes the same distance, hubs instead of belts. You can get a belt drive system for this in the Riot eventually. So I think, you know, I think that would be pretty good. And then you get the option, you get to switch, which I think is unique. You know, you're building your board. Is it the best board out there? I don't think it's an easy question to answer. I think Boosted need to up their game in their next board, but I'm sure they will. So let's see what they come up with. For me, I like riding it, but again, I like riding my boosted board Stealth. I like riding the X1, Backfire, Meepo. You know, I like all those boards. I think they're good for what they are. But I think there's definitely some improvements that could be made with this one. I think that's the end. On a side note, starting a vlog is hard. It's really hard. Talking to a camera. You know, am I looking at the camera? Am I looking at the little flip out screen?